What's going on, YouTube? This is Jim, and I am back from the dead. It has been way too long since I did a YouTube video, and I decided it's time to get back to business. It's time to talk about gaming. It's my life, in case you couldn't tell on the wall behind me. I did take some time off, maybe a little bit of E3 burnout, but you know what? I realized that even though my channel will never be as big as some of these other channels, I don't care. I enjoy doing this. It's a fun hobby. So here I am. We're going to talk today about some video games. And what better way to dive back into the Jim experience than by talking about none other than No Man's Sky. Now, I have not yet played No Man's Sky. And I know you're probably going to say, geez, Jim, how could you talk about a game you haven't played? But I have been a victim of the hype train, which is what most people who did buy No Man's Sky are experiencing. We've all been there, right? We've seen things during E3, PlayStation Experience, Gamescom, anything, you name it. And we start to believe in what the game is going to be about, and we start to embellish what we think a game is going to be about. And because it's so early in development, the developers don't have a lot to show, and none of our expectations are put into check, okay? And what ends up happening is we believe something to be true when we don't know it to be true. This is true in everything, by the way. I'm not just talking video games, films, TV shows, books, anything. And what ends up happening is we get this sense of ownership of something that we don't even know about, really, other than a little snippet, a little vertical slice, as it were, of what the game may be about. And when it comes out and it's not exactly the way we pictured it, people go nuts. Now, I've been reading through the reviews, and I have yet to see any formal reviews other than from Jim Sterling, who gave it a 5 out of 10. But most critics are still on the fence, and we are awaiting a review. I have a feeling Jim Sterling is probably on point the most. I really respect the guy's channel and his opinion on the industry, and I tend to believe him over any of the other critics. He may be a little on the low side. We will see what ends up happening, as more releases come out, probably in another week or so. A lot of reviewers want to take some time and really chew on it and think about it a little bit more, and that's fine. But I think they're probably about right. And the number one critique I see across the board on all these so-called reviews in progress is that the game is not just open exploration. And I thought about that in a minute, and that's what really prompted me to do this video. What the hell does open exploration mean? Do you think a game would be fun if you could fly around from planet to planet and do whatever you want? What does that even mean? Is it a combat game? Are you landing on the planet and shooting other people? Is it Minecraft in outer space where you're going to other planets and mining things, which it turns out that No Man's Sky is most closely related to? Or is it just a sense of absolute freedom with tons and tons of different things to see? Every planet has 10,000 different species that look totally different, completely rendered different than everything else you've seen. And what? What is the hook of the game? Is it just an experience? Is it a walking simulator, so to speak? Is it a plane, like a flight simulator? What is this game trying to be? And I feel like as I read these critics talk, they don't even know what they want the game to be. They just know that it's not that. This utopia, this idea of this perfect game is not No Man's Sky. And unfortunately, Hello Games is going to suffer for that. If I was Sean Murray, if I owned Hello Games and I was working on a game and Sony came to me and said, hey, we want you to be the keynote of our E3 coverage. Are you interested? Hell yeah, I'm interested. Take me, a nobody, who's really done, he's had some other small games, Joe Danger, but, what really? Nothing. And we're going to build you up, and we're going to make this game important, and we're going to back it, and I'm probably going to work out some exclusivity deal, money, whatever. Of course you're going to do it. So he's not the victim. Sony, is Sony the victim? Is Sony the culprit? Who is to blame here? The real answer is, and you guys aren't going to like it, we're to blame. The fans are to blame for this game not being what we wanted because we had unreal expectations and unclear expectations. We didn't know what it was going to be about, but we pretended we knew what it was going to be about. And time after time, pre-order after pre-order, I see people get so hyped up on forums and on Reddit and on just social media, just blowing it up, talking all about, man, this game is going to be the best game ever, and then violently defending it when there's really not much to defend, and being very personally insulted when a game that we backed isn't what everyone wanted it to be. And it is such a petty thing, and it makes gamers look stupid, and I hate it. And as a lifelong gamer, look around me. I mean, who dedicates an entire wall to Nintendo framed art, right? I mean, and it's all around me. You've seen the room before. You know what I'm talking about. I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed when I see this stuff, and it's stupid. And we shouldn't be holding ourselves to these unrealistic standards. Let's wait for the game to come out. Let's see what it's about. The explanation of what No Man's Sky was, it has been going on for so many years before it actually came out. We saw the demo of the same thing over and over. How fun is naming a planet really going to be? Turns out it's not that fun from what I can tell. So, all I could say, my message of the day, my message to you, my fans, anyone who stumbles across this video at any time. It doesn't have to be in August 2016. It could be 50 years from now when I'm old, gray, maybe even dead. The message will remain the same. You guys need to slow it down a little bit. Think about what you're actually signing up for when you get these pre-orders. Think about what you've actually seen of the game and understand that it may not be what you want. And that's okay. It can still be a fun game, but now you've tainted it with these unrealistic expectations. You've demanded even more than the game is going to bring to you guys, and as a result, you're disappointed. So where you could have gone into a game and said, I know this is going to be a mediocre experience, but it's one that I want to experience, that's okay. I've played many okay games that aren't perfect. But if I think every single open world game is going to be as advanced as a Grand Theft Auto 5, or storylines are going to be as complex as a Skyrim, I'm probably going to be disappointed because not every game is that caliber. And not every game is trying to be that caliber. And it's just very baffling to me. So that is what I have to say. I don't know if what I'm gonna call this section. I'll think of some clever title on YouTube, but I'm gonna do these kind of rants more often because I see it and I feel like somebody's got to be the voice of reason. I'm not saying I have to be the voice of reason. I will try to be the voice of reason, but I just see it and I got to call it out, and I got to tell you guys, shame on you. But you know what? That's okay. That's probably a text from my wife saying, why the hell aren't you in bed? It's 11 o'clock at night, so I'm going to get the hell out of here because I know who the boss is. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm glad to be back, and I will see you guys on the other side.